Hey, my name is Zariah, and I am one of the creators and the facilitators of Gender, Grief, and Gentleness. And if you're watching this, thank you for considering coming to the workshop. I hope to see you there. If you have any questions or you want to, learn more about what this workshop is going to be, feel free to reach out. But I just wanted to introduce myself and share a little bit about where this work comes from for me. Um, for me, this work is really about creating a space that offers men permission to feel. There's a lot of emotions that I think are not usually included in the story of what a man is allowed to feel, what a man is allowed to talk about feeling. Um, but the big three, I think, are fear and grief and shame. And the reason this work even exists, the reason that I am who I am, the reason that I created this work, goes back to my father. And the reason um, that he was who he was, of course, starts well before him and goes back to his ancestors. And who knows how far back it goes, really. Um, it's hard to say where these things begin. Um, but the spirit of my father is very much alive in this work. And it's ironic because my father was not someone who ever had permission to feel. My father was someone who battled inner demons his entire life. Shame was a big one for him. But fear and grief were right up there at the top of the list as well. And his inability to speak about those things, his inability to give himself permission to feel those things, um, broke his heart. And it broke my heart because when I lost him to divorce very early in my life, it meant that he couldn't be honest with either me or himself about what was happening. He couldn't cry with me. He couldn't hold me and hold my hand and hold my little 2-year-old body and say, I'm so sad and I miss you so much. He couldn't acknowledge to himself the shame that he was feeling about the divorce. And so he shoved it down and pretended and performed and was inauthentic with me and was inauthentic with himself and coped with a lot of behaviors and drinking and other things. And that continued his whole life. Um, it was so deeply confusing for me. It was the most confusing thing to lose this man who had been the light of my life and holding me so close and helping me to navigate the world and understand everything about it, and suddenly to feel him disappear, and not only to disappear, but to seemingly be fine. I never understood why it was that it seemed like he was fine while my heart was shattered, truly shattered. And it's taken me a lifetime to realize that his heart was also shattered, but he couldn't admit it and he couldn't acknowledge it because he had no spaces where he could give himself permission to feel. I lost him twice, actually, because he spent the rest of his life denying himself permission to feel, until ultimately he died quite young, um, of a broken heart, um, of heart failure of some kind or another after, heart surgery and whatever else. Um, but his legacy lives on through me and through my commitment to expanding my own emotional honesty, really being honest with myself about what I am feeling and learning how to talk about it and learning how to name it, learning how to bring it in and welcome it and not run from it, but to turn towards it. And so I'm turning towards his absence through this work. I'm turning towards his legacy. I'm turning towards my love for him. I'm turning towards my grief over the loss of him. And I'm doing it by praying for, um, and in some ways, I might even say demanding that men have spaces where we have permission to feel because we need them. Because I can't handle life without it. My father could not handle life without it, and it literally killed him. And I loved my father, and I still love my father so fucking much that it still breaks my fucking heart. And I wish that he was here, and I wish that he could come to this workshop. But he can't. And of course, there's no way he could because this workshop wouldn't exist if he weren't gone, if he hadn't died, if I hadn't lost him twice. Um, this work would not even exist. And so, whatever it is that you're carrying, whatever it is you might be struggling with, if you have shame, if you are feeling burdened by fear or grief or sadness and you don't have spaces in your life to feel them, or maybe you only talk about it with your therapist one on one, and you could imagine sitting in a circle um, and maybe speaking about it just a little, maybe even just a little bit with other men who might understand some of what it is that you're going through, and with other men or male bodied people or male identified people who might get what it means to not have permission to feel and to feel the need to keep up some type of performance, some type of presentation of masculinity that we were taught that is not actually serving us. It's not actually helping us to be healthy or have better relationships with ourselves or our families. Um, or if you're just curious about this work, please come to this. It would truly mean the world to me. This work is an incredibly important thing in my life. Um, and we're not just going to be sitting in a circle talking about our feelings the whole time. There will be plenty of that, but we're also gonna move our bodies. We're gonna sing together. We're gonna practice some qigong. I'm a qigong instructor, um, as well as a song leader. There's going to be plenty of poetry. We're going to make some art together. There's also going to be a cozy, soft space if you just want to curl up in the corner and pull a blanket over you and sip hot tea. There's going to be good snacks. There's going to be some pretty good company. So if you think that some of that sounds like a good time and a good way to spend your Friday night and your Saturday, then please, I invite you to come on May 29th and May 30th to Gender, Grief, and Gentleness. I truly would love, love, love for you to join us. And whether you come or not, I just want to say that please feel your feelings, all of them. Make time for them, get to know them, befriend them, and don't be afraid to talk about them with people who are trustworthy, who are safe, with people who have earned your trust and who deserve to hear your story. Because I really do believe that men doing that can change the world. Um, and I believe it's an act of incredible courage. So that's my prayer for you. Um, I'll leave you with a poem. There is an intimacy, an immediate intimacy of the heart that we share with every other sensuous living thing. Unacknowledged and unthanked, this intimacy appears to disappear, and in its place emerges some crazed, culture-wide frenzy as we frantically try to fill with man-made conceit an empty space that's far too big to be filled by anything other than the web that weaves us all together. This immediate intimacy of the heart is no longer deemed necessary, seen as superfluous, expendable, and inefficient, even while untold health crises wreak havoc on our bodies and our souls. And so we build bigger hospitals and bigger prisons and make stronger medicines, still too stubborn or too afraid or too proud to surrender to this immediate intimacy of the heart that we share with every other sensuous living thing. Thank you.